So when I was about 8 years old, I met a lady who came and I was living in a group home. I was 8 years old and I was living at this place called Bridge. And so basically Bridge was like this group home for like young kids between like the ages of like 6 to like 12. And I was living there for a few months and you know, it was fun for me because I was a kid and I really all you do as a kid is try to have fun, you know what I mean? So by the end of my stay, this my first foster mother ever came to the place. Her name was Odessa Bryant. All right. At the time I met her, she was 68 years old, and it was me, my little. I had a little brother. I had two little brothers, and I had my older brother. We all lived in the same place, and so what ended up happening was me and my older brother ended up going to stay with her, and we ended up staying there for 2 years, and my younger brothers ended up going to stay with another foster mother parent, but she actually happened to know Miss Odessa too. They actually happened to know each other. But anyway, Miss Odessa was a lady who grew up in the South. She grew up in Alabama, and she had she had I want to say she had a lot of brothers and sisters. I want to say at least like 12. I can't make a count of all of them, but she had a close knit family. They grew up in Alabama in the South in the country, and she used to tell me stories and stuff about how she grew up, and she said her mom was the lady that was really there for her through everything. She was a strong woman, and she used to have her and her brothers and sisters uh, used to get together at nighttime, and they would get on in the living room probably, and their mom used to read them the Bible, and they would read Bible stories, and you know what I mean. Her mom was a Christian growing up, and she was really into the Bible. And as she got older, she had her first kid when she was about 16, and she ended up moving up here to the States, and she ended up having 8 more kids, but the thing about her was she was a strong woman. She never ever left her kids because she knew she loved her kids more than she loved her husband. She loved her kids more than she loved everybody. And she put her kids before, that was her main priority, you know what I mean? So, me as a man, I can do that too. And you can too. So, what I want to say is that that's a prime example of a lady who can do it, who did it, and who made it with 8 children. And my parents had 9, and I don't know what was wrong with them, why they couldn't do it, but that just shows that if she can do it, then I can make it out the struggle, and I can be anything I want to be. You know what I mean? And she was a nurse. She was a nurse. She used to study one at nighttime when her kids would be sleeping in bed. She would study. You know, she became a nurse, and yeah. So she was, and when all her kids grew up, she became a foster mother, and she ended up doing that for 33 years.
Was she good at it?
Yeah, she was very good. She was a very good foster mother. She took in young kids, girls, boys, families. She took in a lot of kids, and she helped them, and she helped a lot of kids.
Was she
And
nice?
yeah, she
Can
was
you
very nice.
describe sort of her personality?
All right, so the personality that she had was sort of family oriented. She's very lovingful, and I mean, I'm saying was like she's not lying. She is very lovingful. She is very lovingful, and she gives a lot of good advice. And with me, the thing is, I spent a lot of months here at the Roxbury House, not really doing nothing. I was really just like hanging around and just like smoking weed, not really doing nothing, and I didn't really go see her. But these last few weeks, I've been trying to clean my act up and get to my act together, and yeah, so I've really been seeing her a lot and starting to get to really understand her a lot more. And she's a great person, you know what I mean? And that's all I've really got to say. I don't really have nothing else to say about it because she's just a great person, you know.
Did you spend the holidays with her? Did she cook for you?
Oh, she took care of my brother. She took care of my brother for 10 years. I had my older brother. Me and him ended up staying with her for the first 2 years when I got taken away from my family. We ended up staying with her for the first 2 years. I had to leave. I ended up leaving though because social workers and social workers are good people, but sometimes they're not good people when they take you and they split you apart from your families. But I want to say that the first 2 years of my life with her was very good, and she ended up taking care of my brother for the next 10 years until my brother was a grown man, and yeah, that's all I gotta say.
So when did DCF come into your life? When did they?
And DCF came into my life when I was 8 years old. I was living down on Greenville Street, and and my dad got kicked out of the apartment, and because I guess he couldn't pay the rent, or like he was busting holes in the wall, and so we ended up being like homeless on the street for a little while. And I was about 8, so I really had glimpses of. I remember because I still have glimpses. I mean, not glimpses.
Do you remember what it was like being homeless? Can you describe it?
All right, so when we first got kicked out of the house, it was me and my 8 brothers, and I had little brothers too, like newborns. So we were really just walking around in the street for a little while, and we ended up going over to a store near Tropical Foods, and my dad must have had like a best friend. He had a best friend. His name was Dwight. Dwight owned a barbershop that used to be around here 10 years ago. That's not here no more. But he owned a barbershop, and he ended up letting us come stay with him. We ended up staying with him for a couple months. I was a little boy, so what I was doing, I was playing video games, and I was just playing video games, going to school. And so, long story short, my dad must have ended up ending things on bad terms with Dwight. So they had problems, they ended up having problems, and Dwight ended up kicking him out. And so, long story short, we was homeless again. So now we're homeless again, and we had no place to stay now. So we ended up coming back over here on Greenville Street, coming to this apartment and sleeping on the stairs. Me and my 8 brothers and sisters ended up sleeping in the apartment that we used to live in. We ended up sleeping outside of our building, outside of our old apartment, and we spent one night there. And the next day we woke up. We went down to, I think it was the post office or the state house, something like that. And we was hungry, so we was in there eating up all the chocolate. Me and my brothers, we was eating up all these they had like these little chocolate Hershey's Kisses. We was eating all those, you know what I mean? And we leave there. I think my parents was looking for like a place for us to stay down there, and so we ended up leaving after we left. We was leaving, walking, about to leave, and we was outside, and then the police pulled up on us, and I didn't know what was going on, so I'm holding on to my mom. I'm like, what's going on? And I see my dad. My dad's over there getting mad. He starts to punch the ball. He starts punching the wall. He starts ping, ping, punching the wall. I'm like, what's going on? And then the police is like surrounding him, just like watching him, making sure he don't do nothing. And then all I see is this woman start coming out of nowhere. A couple ladies actually, and they're like, we're gonna need to take these kids. Sorry guys, y'all gotta go. It's time for us to y'all have to come with us. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm young. Mind you, I'm like 8, 7. So I'm looking, hanging on to my mom's shirt like this, like, Mom, what's going on? I start to cry. I'm like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So they ended up taking us, and my dad's over there. He's heated. He's like, bing, what the heck? Why is this happening? He's getting mad. And I'm like, I'm looking at him. I'll start crying more. You know what I mean? Start crying more, and so the lady, the social worker, ends up pulling me away from my mom, and that was a hard moment because I literally love my mom because she really took care of us, because she's like the only one that took care of us, because my dad he took care of us too, but my mom was like there for us all the time because she since I was a baby, you know what I mean? You know how it is, the connection with your mother, and you know how your mom breastfeeds you and all that. I had a connection with her, and so I ended up leaving my mom, and I get into the car with these social workers. You know what I mean? A lot of white people, You know what I mean? And they put on the TV to distract us. They had like a little TV in the car, and they put that on to distract us. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what the heck was going on because I was 8. I was like 8 or 7. I didn't know what the heck was going on. So you know what I mean? We ended up going to Dimick Street. I think it was Dimick Street or Park Street, one of those offices. And they got us some pizza, and we had some pizza. And then the first night we went to Bridge. That was the first night we went to Bridge. And they split us up. They split me and my brothers and sisters up. My little sisters ended up, I think they got put into foster care. My other little brothers were babies too. So I think they got put into foster care immediately. People adopted them immediately. Not immediately, but people started looking at them immediately. And they gave my parents a chance, though, a chance to get us back. And all my dad and mom had to do was get a house and get a stable place to live, and just a stable place to live. But I guess my dad couldn't do that. I guess they were trying, but my dad and mom, my dad couldn't do that. My dad controlled my mom. Mind you, my dad controlled my mom. So my dad wanted things to happen on his terms when he wanted things to happen. So he would show up at the sibling visits, not on the days that they were scheduled, but on the days that they weren't scheduled. He would show up because he wanted things to go his way, expecting that the foster mothers would just come and let him see his kids. And no, the social workers told him that that's not how it's going to be, that it's not going to happen like that. So eventually, I guess he just gave up and he stopped trying. And they ended up moving to Albany, New York. And I had never really heard from them again. You know what I mean? For like the next 10 years. And then I'm like, I just forget about them after a while. You know what I mean? Because I was 8, so, you know, I grew up. And I, just forgot about them. But I never really stopped thinking about them. I used to like wonder, like, I remember that first night we went to, not the first night, but I think it was like a couple nights in, we was at Bridge, and it was me and my brother, and they put us in a room together, and I sat there in the bed that night, and I just was like, I was crying because I was young. I was sitting there, shed a little bit of tears, you know what I mean? And then I got up, and I looked out the window, and I used to look out that window every night, thinking that my parents was gonna come back, thinking that I was gonna see them walk down the street one day and come and get us, and that never happened. But I remember I finally gave up on it, and then my brother came to me. He's like, Tyrese, we're gonna be okay. You know what I mean? So people don't really understand. You know, everyone goes through the struggle. Everyone goes through the struggle. Everyone has their life. You know what I mean? So I grew up, and I'm leaving all that in the past. You know what I mean? Everything that happened to me, I'm leaving it in the past because it was a past self, it was a past me, and it was a past life. There's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is move forward and hope that it never happens again, and I can build up my relationship with my brothers again someday when they're all older. You know what I mean? My dad.
Keep going.
My dad and mom, they're still doing good. They're okay. They have 6 other kids. I pray for those kids every day. You know what I mean? Because I know they're going through it right now. Because, you know, I went through it. You know what I mean? My dad used to like whoop me every day. Yeah, he didn't like us. He used to whoop me and my brothers every day. He make us line up in a line. You know, all 8 of us, 9 of us, all the way down to the youngest. The youngest was like 2, 3, 4, something like that. And he make us all oldest to youngest. You know, my older brother first. And I don't even know what we did. I don't even think we did much. You know what I mean? We probably just be doing what little kids do, act up a little bit, you know, because we're young. And so my dad would get us in this line, and he'd beat us one by one. Take the belt, beat my older brother with it. You know what I mean? We all sat there and watched. We watched every lick. We heard every lick, and we heard my brother. I heard every tear he shed, and I never forget it. You know what I mean? And then I take my turn, and I took it like a man because, you know, I was just taking it like a man. It's gonna set the example for my younger brothers. But the only thing I couldn't understand was when I would see my little brother. My little brother's like, he's like 2, and my little brother's up there getting whooped on my dad. My dad has him on his lap like this, and he didn't do much. He didn't really do nothing. My dad's just beating the shit out of him, and that's a hard scene to watch because that's a part of me. My little brother's a part of me, and he was a very energetic kid. You know, he used to laugh a lot. I haven't seen him in like 6 years. You know, he was a good kid to be around. You know what I mean? All of them were all of them. They didn't do nothing to deserve any of this. You know what I mean? They didn't deserve this life. None of us did, but that's how it is. You know what I mean? That's how sometimes that's just how life is, and you gotta just learn how to move on. You know what I mean? You gotta learn how to just man up and move on and move forward because one day things are gonna get better. God has a plan for everybody. Things are gonna get better for everybody. You know what I mean? My little brothers out there, they're adopted now, and I hope they're doing good. I hope they're doing good. I haven't really seen them in a long time, but I hope they're doing good. I have 2 other younger brothers who I used to live with, whose names are Ernest and Taekwon. They ended up getting adopted by a Caucasian couple, and they ended up moving to North Carolina. So they live in the Carolinas. They're doing good. They have a good education. The lady that adopted them really loved them. I got to meet her. I got to live with her for a couple of years. She was a really good lady, and she loves them. So I know they're doing good. But I have 3 other younger brothers who got adopted by a gay couple. I mean, I don't really mind it, but I just didn't like. We used to have sibling visits, right? I just didn't like when we had sibling visits, and I used to see them coming there dressed up in like tutus and skirts and stuff like that, and that used to make me feel some type of way because they were my little brothers, and I didn't like to see them dressed like that. So you know, but as long as the ladies love them, that's good. You know what I mean? As long as they love them and taking care of them, that's good. You know what I mean? But yeah, so everybody, I would say my brothers are doing good right now. I would say all my brothers and sisters are doing good. They all got adopted, and yeah, but they ain't deserve that life. They ain't deserve the life that they had. They ain't deserve it. That's all I gotta say.
That was incredible.